Ah, she's not here. I have returned to talk about the lureplant. It can be used to harvest things in mass, if planted correctly, of course. It can be mighty helpful to use with that old hag librarian, especially with her books. Here you see, just plant correctly and... Oh goodness gracious, quickly! I must be gone. She's back with the dagger, and I won't have a knife time if I stick around.
She really wanted that toy so badly. I just couldn't help but get it for her. What the heck is all this about lure plants? Those things have been talked to death. If you really want to have an automatic farm, you really should take a look at death worms. Yeah, I'm talking about those things that basically replace hound waves in caves. Normally people run or kill the worms, though running away actually can create a unique situation for farming. Because you see, when death worms are not actively trying to eat you, they have an ability to make an area look explored. How they do this is simple really. Death worms have the ability to harvest anything the player can. They do this to try and trick the player into picking their lure, because if a player were to come across the glowberry, they would see every harvestable is picked up, so the berries should be harvestable too. But then, they get chomped by the worm. This harvesting the worm does is really interesting because the worm does it about every 30 seconds, harvesting up to 15 items if there is no food items around. If there is food items around, the death worm will eat the item and return back to hiding. Keeping the area loaded will have the worm continue to harvest. So you can put this just outside of your base and have a worm auto-farm your twigs, grass, and stone fruit. I had initially thought you could use spiky bushes to damage the worm as they harvested, but it seems like they stopped harvesting after taking damage from the bush. So you could do this for 300 twigs, but it'll take an extremely long time to kill the worm with it. So then, how good is the worm's inventory then? It seems like they have about 15 slots. And it's actually really cool because the worm will stop harvesting when they reach max inventory. So that way you'll know when it's time to kill them. You can endlessly cycle resources and worms as you live in the caves. And it's definitely one of the better underutilized mechanics in the game. And it works for any character. So you don't need to change the wicker to do those overly drastic, overly complicated lure plant farms just for the same amount of loot. The only difference is time. But this is a survival game and time is all that the player has. So death worms are something you can take advantage of without just making life worse. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you learned something new here and maybe something new you may try for yourself. This has been Tara from DBG and I'll see you next time. Take care.